Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of A Little Bit Unglamorous. I'm your host, Erica Renee, and thank you so much for joining me this week. I have another exciting episode for you guys. I am so excited to be here. I hope everyone is having a great week, and if not, you're halfway through. So we're gonna make it together. And we're going to get into some VMAs recap. But before we do that, I want to do a little weekend recap. I have some really exciting feel-good news. And if you know, we have a adorable husky named Jenna. And she's an internet celebrity, by the way. So if you don't follow her on Instagram at Jenna the Land Seal, you should. She is the next up and coming famous dog. And so she is the cutest little husky you had ever seen. And she's been on her little weight loss journey. She's a skinny queen now. She's a skinny-free, cancer-free queen. And I think I mentioned in a previous episode that she was going into the vet to get checked out. She had a little minor surgery, a little lump on her chest, and luckily the surgery went well. She was the cutest little cone head you had ever seen. The cone was short-lived. I think she had to wear it for like a week, but it was the funniest thing. Poor thing. She looked absolutely miserable. But the surgery went well, and the vet told us last week that she got all of the cancer. It did turn out to be cancerous, but it was isolated. And for celebration, I convinced my boyfriend that the dogs absolutely needed pup cups to celebrate. And poor Jenna, she has a little... All hot girls have sensitive tummies, so she's got a little sensitive tummy, but I convinced him that when you survive cancer, you deserve a pup cup. So we have a cute little video of her enjoying her little pup cup on Instagram, and she's gonna live 1,000,000 years longer than all of us. So follow her on Instagram so you can see her long and adventurous life. She's been to more continents than I have, been to more states than I have, and she's a very well-traveled dog. And her little companion Vixen, they are the dynamic duo, have gone on many adventures lately. Actually, I think they've gotten out of the house at least 3 times, so I feel a little less terrible because they've gotten away from me at least once. They're a little mischievous. So this past weekend, my parents were in town, and it was a great time. They came to San Diego, and we went to the beach. The weather has been a little bit overcast here lately. It's so strange. It's technically fall, I believe, right? It's hot. It's still really warm here. It's not quite, I just noticed today that it's starting to get dark very soon. I think it got dark around 7 today, and I'm used to it staying light so late because sometimes I like to procrastinate, film the pod a little bit later, but whenever the fall comes and it gets dark at 5, I just feel like my life consists of working, clocking out, being lazy, waking up, and doing it all over again. So I kind of feel like mind boggled because the weather is not cool yet, and I have to change my little fall wreath on my door, but I'm hoping I can wear some chunky sweaters and stuff and really embrace the cold. Speaking of fall apparel, I went to Buffalo Exchange, I think 2 weekends ago now, and I had this written down to talk about on the last podcast, and I totally forgot, but I carried it over to this week because I had to talk about this because I feel like it's the universal experience with Buffalo Exchange, and I'm fairly certain it's a chain. Basically any sort of clothing consignment store you can think of. Not quite Goodwill, but you know the stores you go in and they're supposed to be the hip stores that only take the cool clothes, and every time you go your clothes are not cool enough and they make sure to let you know. So I had a few items that didn't work out for me. Some of them even had the tags on, and they actually bought items from me for maybe once in the last 10 years. Not a very good track record for me. I guess my clothes are not cool enough, but I had a few items they actually picked up. I think it was like 4 items that they bought from me, and I think they resold them all total for $67, I believe, was the retail value that they told me. And I got a whopping $16.50. So big ballin'. But it's just funny. It's the way that when you go in, you're waiting, and there's usually a couple of people, but only one person is going through the clothes to see if they are good enough to buy from you. Anyway, so I'm waiting. I get in line. I finally get up to the register. I only had like 5 items to bring because I was tired of having them sit in my closet waiting to sell on Poshmark. So I'm like, you know what, let me just get it off my hands. And it's the way that they go through it. And the girl is going through the clothes, and then she looks at it and she's like, wait, this is actually cute. Like, she was shocked she found something good enough to buy. I just feel like every time I go in there, I feel so judged, but I had to share that because I thought it was so funny. In other news, I made my great return to Twitch last week. I did one live stream. Nobody ever really joins my live streams. I'm not really sure how to get noticed. Only like the weirdos join, right? There's always some strange person that joins the chat and says some weird shit. You never know what you're gonna get on Twitch. But I think it's fun. I kind of really want to figure out the platform, but I don't know how to get a following, like a quality following, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to have all the weirdos in the chat being like, stick out your tongue, like saying strange things like that. Anyway, looping back, I was talking about my parents being in town for the weekend, and we went to the beach, and I got lost in the whole weather thing. But what I was gonna say is we did go to the beach, and it was a bit overcast, but it was a lot of fun. While we were there, it almost felt like it was going to start to rain, but we got some good quality time, got some pizza, had some drinks, came home, watched back-to-back movies until way too late, and it was a lot of fun, honestly. And now that they're gone, I feel a little lonely, to be honest. So the other day, I was perusing Netflix, and I saw that there were new episodes added to Love is Blind. And we know I love every single trash TV that there is to offer. And the last season of Love is Blind is ingrained in my brain. And I must admit, I didn't watch all of the episodes yet, but there are 2 couples that I want to discuss. The most interesting couples, arguably. But so the Love is Blind series, I think they released maybe 4 new episodes called After the Altar, and it's following the couples from the last season on their 1-year anniversary of being married and kind of following up on them. And then apparently also season 5 premieres on September 22nd. So I have a whole new season that I'm gonna get to binge, and maybe we'll recap it. So watch it with me, and I'm sure I will be discussing it in future podcasts. But my first favorite couple that I have to talk about is Paul and Mika. Is her name Mika or Micah? I had a dog named Micah growing up, so it kind of trips me out a little bit. But Paul and Micah, so I hope you've watched a spoiler alert. So Paul and Micah didn't get married, and it was an epically terrible ending, and I felt really bad for Micah, honestly. Basically, Paul left her so... Not even just left her at the altar, he savagely left her at the altar. He basically told her in front of all her friends and family in that moment, no, I can't marry you because I can't see you being a mother. Like, just that's so savage. Like, I don't see a motherly side to you. Like, dagger to the heart, so rude. And then afterwards, he immediately was like chasing after her, wanting to comfort her. Like, bitch, get the hell away from me. You just epically disrespected me in front of everybody that we know and on national TV nonetheless. And you want to come and try to console me afterwards? Get away from me. Oh my God. And so imagine that happening to you and then still keeping in touch with that person. I find so Paul and Micah apparently still keep in touch. Maybe not so much him, but she keeps in touch with Paul's mom, who, it's really funny, they look so similar. But the mom meets up with Micah for lunch and they chat like they're girlfriends. And I just find that such a bizarre situation. Maybe it's different for boys, but I feel like the relationship's over. The parent should be loyal to their child and not be talking to the ex. I've actually had friends that have said the same thing to me. They've had a parent love the person they were with so much that they still texted them or kept in touch with them after they had broken up, after they had done terrible things to their daughter or son. And I just cannot imagine that. I can't fathom that. Like, I can't imagine more of a betrayal. But I thought that was really interesting. So it followed them. So that was one thing that I thought was very interesting. And then the second one was Jackie. And for the life of me, I don't even have the name of the guy that she chose. But Jackie, she was not even the biggest villain on this season, but she made herself out to be such a fool because she picked her choice and then decided she liked the first guy better. So she decided to, of course, not tell him at all. And then, oh, surprise, surprise, I'm actually dating the other guy. Sorry, we're not getting married today. And so the After the Altar episode showed her with the second guy that she is now still dating, I believe. All happy-go-lucky. She didn't even show up to the reunion because she was so ashamed and knew that America was going to turn on her for how messed up she acted during the show. And the way she justified it in the moment, it was just so disgusting to me. But I'm pretty sure I only got through 2 episodes and then I got distracted. So those are the 2 updates that I have for you. If you watched Love is Blind, watch After the Altar and let me know what you think. So that was about as far as I got, and I had to at least talk about it because I love these trash TV shows, but oh my God, some of the things that people do make me so damn mad. However, the star of today's episode is going to be the MTV VMAs. So buckle up. I have thoughts. I literally had my notepad out as I was watching the VMAs, and I was actually kind of disappointed that, well, it's like this always, but it wasn't live for me because I'm on the West Coast, so it's live Eastern time, but I had to wait for it to air, 2 hours later here, so all of the spoilers were kind of popping up online, so I was trying not to look at it. But so the VMAs happened last week, and Queen Taylor Swift swept the awards as we thought and knew that she would. And as always, she is just the most fun person to watch at any award show because she's always having the best time. She didn't even perform or anything, and she was still the most interesting person there, having the time of her life, having some drinks, dancing around, and the cameras just loved it. So Sabrina Carpenter plays a mashup of some of her famous songs. She does a medley for the pre-show. She looks bomb as usual. I just love her aesthetic. She always wears like the tiniest little cute outfits, and I just think she always looks freaking amazing. Olivia Rodrigo performed a couple of her hit songs to Vampire and I Want Him Back. I had actually never heard of I Want Him Back before the VMAs performance, and it's a really cute, like, teen upbeat bop. It's just a silly, cute song. I really enjoyed it. But so Olivia Rodrigo's performance goes on, and I'm watching it, and to me something felt a little off. I couldn't put my finger on it, but she looked very uncomfortable and almost scared. She kept looking up, and then I noticed all of these pyrotechnics were happening around her and her band as she was playing, and it was like explosions were going off, trees were falling over, and I thought one of them was going to catch on fire, and it almost looked like it was a mistake. And somebody ushered her off the stage, and then the song kind of went quiet, played a little clip of one of her famous songs before she came back on stage with like a million other dancers who were dressed similarly to her, and then she went into the second number that she was performing with some more enthusiasm. So the first number felt really odd to me. It was like very low energy, and it felt like that there was some sort of glitch that was happening. And I would have totally believed that if I didn't Google later that it was all planned. So the malfunction, so the stage malfunctioning was planned. It was supposed to be an homage, I guess, to her actual music video for the song. But if you looked back at the celebrities reacting to the performance, clearly they didn't know either, because I was worried for her. And if you pan in on Selena Gomez, she looked so concerned. And might I say, it was kind of annoying that news outlets were trying to spin it into something else, like her being disgusted, which she clearly was not. She looked very concerned for this girl on stage who looked scared at the time, but it was all planned apparently. Either way, I thought she looked really cute in her little like red bralette and I believe a little tiny skirt, and all of her dancers were kind of dressed like her. I feel like she has a much more edgy, sexy look. I think her album has gone to #1. Personally, I really loved the first album that she released. This one is much more upbeat. It has a lot of fun songs to it. And also her music video, I Googled later for I Want Him Back, is so fun. She's basically in this house, and I think they filmed it all on like it was an ad for the iPhone 15. And there's like a million of her walking around, just giving attitude, and she's just like in front of this house that's on fire, and I thought it was really cute and really fun. So very shortly after the show starts, so Olivia performed, I believe she opened the show. So very shortly after the show started and after Olivia performed, NSYNC takes the stage. And I think every millennial woman collectively fangirled, because NSYNC has been broken up forever. They have not been in any sort of reunion or anything like that. They have not been in the same space together in a really long time, at least from what I can remember. So they came out and presented the first award of the night, which was Best Song. So, and it was so funny because the cameras panned on Taylor Swift when she saw NSYNC coming out, and she was so awestruck by them. She was fangirling over NSYNC, and it was really cute. So she ended up winning Best Song for Antihero, takes the stage, and NSYNC presents her with her little moon man, and she is just overwhelmed that NSYNC gave her an award, and NSYNC gave her some friendship bracelets, which I thought was so cute. And apparently NSYNC is coming out with a new song, and I just feel like there's something more. And even Taylor said it on stage. She was like, I have to know what you guys are doing. Are you performing? They didn't perform, but I don't know. I feel like they're going to reunite for an album or maybe a tour. If they tour, I have to see them. So Taylor's dress looked amazing. I thought it was navy blue, but I went back through photos and it was actually black, and it had like rivets all down it and a bunch of straps, and it showed a lot of leg, and she looked bomb. I thought it was so funny. Later in the night, she had thousands of dollars of jewelry on her, right? And apparently later in the night, one of these big expensive rings she was wearing, apparently reported to be worth $12,000, broke. So she broke her $12,000 ring. First of all, why is something worth that expensive so easy to break? Like, shortly after, Nicki Minaj takes the stage, and I think she performed actually like 3 times. And fun fact, I think Nicki Minaj and Taylor Swift have always been on really good terms. And I believe early in Nicki's career, she credited Taylor for how her song at the time, I think it was Super Bass, went number 1 because Taylor promoted it to all of her fans. So she's always been a big fan of Nicki, and Nicki has always been really grateful for that and has publicly thanked her on a couple of occasions for Taylor's support. Demi Lovato also performed, and her voice, she is so underrated. I feel she has one of the most powerhouse voices of this generation, and she was a Disney girl as well, and she's really broken out of her shell. And especially now, I feel like she's really making music that she wants to put out, because I think everybody kind of gets pigeonholed into whatever their label wants, especially in the beginning of their career. And she recently came out with a new album that is a rock album. So she's basically remaking a lot of her songs that were hits into rock hits. So but into rock songs, and she performed a medley of those. And she was phenomenal as always. And Demi's a seasoned professional, but I almost felt like something was a little off about her performance too, almost as if at a certain point maybe she couldn't hear out of her earpiece, but she very, very quickly recovered. And it's just something that I noted that I felt like maybe happened, but I'm not quite sure. Ashanti also presented one of the awards, and I have not seen Ashanti in forever. I will forever be taken back to Ashanti and Fat Joe and their 2000s hit What's Love. That was my jam. And I think she went on to do solo albums, but when her and Fat Joe made music together, it was the height. It was the height of the 2000s music. Doja Cat also performed, and I was pretty surprised by this because we all talked about the drama that was going on with Doja Cat and all of her fans. And Doja Cat is just one of those loose cannons that you never know what she's going to do or say. And she took the stage and performed a pretty long set, and all of her dancers were like covered in red paint, almost to like simulate blood, I think. And I don't know why, but for the whole performance, I thought that she was also going to like cover herself in red paint at some point, but she kind of had this tiny little schoolgirl outfit on, and her hair looked freaking amazing. She looked bomb the entire time. She killed it. Her new songs are really catchy. I love her new hit, Paint the Town Red, and it just goes to show that you can do or say anything and have controversy, and then people will forget it and still love you the second you come out with another hit. Shakira also took the stage, and she was, I think, the main performance of the night. And she also won, the Global Icon Award? Oh, the Video Vanguard Award, which I feel like every time the VMAs happen, they always make up a new award. I think Taylor Swift won one for like Artist of the Decade or something, but that name at least makes a little bit more sense. I'm not really entirely sure what the Vanguard Award is, but Shakira is an icon. She was globally known in Colombia, Latin America. She was huge before she came to America with her hit Whenever, Wherever, which she performed at the VMAs, and it was amazing. Shakira's had a rough year. She is, I believe, on trial still or being investigated for tax evasion. Her man's cheated on her, and she found out from a jar of jelly, I guess. And Poor girl cannot catch a break, but she took the stage. She looked freaking amazing. And I saw something online recently that made me laugh, and I believe that it was her ex, who was a famous soccer star, PK. He was at I believe it was a concert, and a bunch of people realized he was there, and I think a lot of her fans started chanting her name. And I feel like if somebody ever cheated on me, I would love for that to happen. Oh, so the Global Icon Award is actually a thing. I didn't just make it up. But P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puff Dragon, whatever he goes by, Diddy, he won the Global Icon Award, and I thought it was really cute because his daughter actually announced him as the winner and presented him the award, and she was so adorable. I didn't realize his daughters were all grown up. I didn't even realize he had daughters, to be honest. Selena Gomez also walked away with an award for her song Calm Down, which she paired up with Latin American singer Rema to make. So they both went on stage and accepted their award, and I thought it was really cute how every time Selena or Taylor won something, the other one was so excited and cheering them on from the side of the stage. I thought it was really cool to see. Also, I thought it was so funny that as the night went on, Taylor was having so much fun, and she was clearly a little buzzed. But after she won one of her awards, I think the next person might have been presenting, but you can see her in the background, and she's in some TikToks where you can see the people saying, "Look at Taylor. She's in the background just like cheering with her award." She like passed it out for all the people in the crowd to touch her award and just celebrating in the background. And then for the after party, she changed into this really cute jean mini dress that I think Sabrina Carpenter also wore for a different performance, and then with these like platform heels. So platforms are in. Taylor Swift has spoken. Platforms are in, and I'm here for it because I'm always trying to be taller. I also saw, speaking of fashion trends that are coming back in, I also saw a photo of an influencer girly wearing leg warmers, and I'm also here for that. She paired them with those cute little platform Ugg slippers, or I think they were like the short mini Uggs with the platform. And I feel like you're either team platform or completely against it. Let me know how you feel, but I'm loving it. Whenever I can be a little bit taller, I'll take it. Changing the topic from the VMAs, I actually saw something recently about Mariah Carey that made me laugh, and it was a reporter who was basically like paparazziing her and videoing her. She was getting into a car, and he was basically saying, "Mariah, did you hear the news that Nick Cannon said that he would remarry you?" And she goes, "Didn't hear about it." And he says, he basically keeps going and says, "But would you consider remarrying him?" And she goes, "Please, he's definitely making that up and just being funny. That's not actually what he said." And he goes, "So you're okay with being alone forever?" And she quickly retorts, "What? He's like my last option. He's my only chance. He's the last person left for love." And I thought that was so funny because Mariah is always really quick. She always has those quick retorts, and she just plays up her diva-esque persona, and I love her for it. I know I also mentioned in the last episode that Drew Barrymore was getting a lot of slack because her talk show was still going on during the strike, but she has since halted it, so she got a lot of pressure and enough backlash. I guess she did stop filming it, and I actually saw something about The View, because I believe The View is still going on. And I believe that the reason why they are able to is because it's classified as a documentary, which I thought was really interesting. That's a nice little loophole for ya. Gotta love those loopholes. So that is about all I have for you this week for this week's pop culture update. What was your favorite part of the VMAs? What was your favorite outfit? Let me know. I love the VMAs. There's something about it that's just so nostalgic, And side note, this is like super random, but I'm really excited about it because I got these little mini microphones today. So get ready for some high quality TikTok, Instagram reel content. If you haven't already, check out my merch. I'm pretty excited. I added some embroidered items. There's dad hats, there's crew neck sweaters. I have one of them behind me. I showed it, I believe. I showed it in my last podcast, but I am so proud of these, and thank you to everyone who listens, who has purchased a sweater, who talks about the pod. I truly appreciate it, and even if one person listens, hi mom, I am truly happy. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you in next week's episode. Bye guys.